Well, it's still a couple of months until Nier Automata drops, so I may as well go for the hat trick and round out the Design Shop triple play with the final two heroes of Nier. Emil, a boy turned horrific superweapon, and Grimoire Weiss, a talking magic book with a superiority complex. Obligatory spoiler warning for those of you unfamiliar with the game. Let's open with Emil. When you first meet Emil, he's a young blind boy who lives in a lavish mansion. Mild-mannered, polite, and intelligent, Emil appears to be every bit the sheltered noble, down to his childlike innocence and curiosity about the world outside. In the off chance that he takes his blindfold off, he petrifies everything that he sees. He is cared after by his butler Sebastian, and is pretty much confined to the inside of the mansion at all times. This original design doesn't really speak much about the character, mostly because it doesn't have to. He's dressed appropriately for a young boy of wealth and manners, and that's about all he needs. But now, it's time to get real. This is the form Emil takes in the second half of the game, and the form you're probably more familiar with. In truth, Emil is a secret weapon, developed more than 1,000 years ago through experimentation on human children. As part of the Ultimate Weapon project, his petrifying gaze was designed as a countermeasure to weapon number 6, his own sister, Halua. In order to free Kaine from his own petrifying spell, Emil merges with Halua to gain her powers, but sacrifices his body in the merging. This is what is left. Unlike Kaine, whose various design elements illustrate her inner conflict, or Nier, whose design illustrates his moral ambiguity, Emil's design is very minimal, and takes the approach of conveying a lot using very little. His costume is a little more than a patterned scarf and cloak, although his scarf actually matches the sash he once wore as a human, the only physical remnant left of the boy he once was. Underneath the cloak is a small skeleton body, topped off with the centerpiece of his whole design, his peculiar spherical head. The bulbous round shape gives him an almost infant-like silhouette, alluding to his childlike optimism, his naivety, and his emotional vulnerability.
It's alright, really. I like camping out with Kaine. It's kind of fun, in a weird way. Sometimes we sit around the fire and tell stories, or roast...
Emil, that's enough! I got a fucking image to maintain.
And all of it draws attention to his face. 2 unblinking eyes, and a twisted grin housing a jawless row of teeth that speak as his mouth. The face's expression is ambiguous and frightening. Is it smiling? Is it laughing? Is it grimacing? Is it crying? Is it in pain? When you first saw this face on weapon number 6, it was monstrous and terrifying. There's such a bold uncanniness to Emil's face that is immediately striking and unnerving. It's little wonder that series director Yoko Taro now wears an Emil mask when in public. After his transformation and learning the truth about his past, Emil goes through a maelstrom of emotions and actually shows the most growth and development of the cast as the story goes on. And yet, this single expression conveys everything that Emil is. The naive and innocent child, the remorseful, suffering boy, the horrific, destructive monster, and the proud companion who fights for his friends.
There's something else there now. Something like pride. You know? I mean, without all this, I couldn't have become your friend.
Next, we have Grimoire Weiss, a sentient magic book who is lending his eldritch powers to Nier to aid him on his quest. Completely unlike Emil, Weiss is pompous, self-absorbed, condescending, and has a huge pet peeve about nicknames.
Then get to it already, Weiss!
You will refer to me by my full and proper name.
Nier first meets Weiss on his way to save Yona, freeing him from a magic seal by bashing it with his sword. In claiming him, Grimoire Weiss bestows his powers onto Nier, although bashing that seal inflicted Weiss with short-term memory loss. Forgetting his original purpose, Weiss travels with Nier to exterminate shades and gather the sealed verses, fragments of his missing power. It's difficult to talk about Weiss's design aspects because, well, he's a book. It's not impossible to be expressive or to convey personality through a talking book. In fact, one of my other all-time favorite characters is also a book for most of the game. a lot of his personality is actually conveyed through his animations and cutscenes, which is actually rather lively and expressive for a floating book. Part of why I did Weiss and Emil together in a single video is because Weiss presents a similar design approach to Emil. Everything about his character needs to be expressed in a single, unchanging face. And this is a face that definitely says condescending, egotistical book. He definitely sees himself as more than human, and is almost rightful in his boasting. He possesses uncanny knowledge of the world before the apocalypse, and also wields incredible power. He is objectively better than every member of his party in every way, save for Emil, and isn't afraid to constantly remind his comrades of his superiority. Also, can I just say that Liam O'Brien killed it with Weiss's voice performance?
You should not have turned your blades on me, foul creatures. With a single word, I, Grimoire Weiss, can shatter the very universe itself. Now, prepare to... oh dear.
Oh dear?
It seems that the frantic bludgeoning you gave me earlier has caused my memory to escape me.
What?
At the same time, though, Weiss isn't completely inhumane. While he's above being human, he's not above human sentiments. Over time, he begins showing signs of pride, compassion, camaraderie, and that even though he's not human, he's more than just an object. Compared to the other grimoires, Weiss's face shows the most humanity. There's Rubrum, who appears the least organic, alluding to her complete loss of autonomy, and there's Noir, who is unmistakably wearing a mad grin. You can immediately tell among these three books which one is the hero book. Never mind that he rejects his destiny as part of Project Gestalt and effectively dooms the remaining replicants by choosing not to put the human souls back in them, but honestly, Noir's pitch might have gone much better if he wasn't so damn evil about it. And then again, it's tough to not sound like an evil asshole when you're voiced by D.T. Douglas.
Yes, now we shall unite in common purpose. Then the world can bear witness to our true power, ensuring complete global saturation.
The two most mysterious characters of Nier, bound by origins far beyond the scope of the game. On one end, a child turned into a monster. On the other, an ancient weapon who remembers his humanity. Each given only a single face to express all of it. Nothing is as it seems. And that's it for today's Design Shop. Thanks to all of you for listening to me talk about one of my all-time favorite games, and special thanks go out to our patrons who make this all worthwhile. I'm A.B.I, and I'm gonna see if I can beat the Automata demo on hard mode with no weapons.